I don't know what happened. The recording just stopped. I assume the recording can't go past a certain amount of time, so it just kind of stopped. Anyways, we'll continue like nothing happened. Chris suddenly remembers the others at the table, and looks around at the green faces of Salios, Anzu, and Callie. She suddenly feels even more embarrassed by Gaki's proposal. I'm sorry, Gaki. Like I said, though, I have to go back home. Then I will wait for you. In the brothel, no doubt. Chris smiles at Gaki, who smiles back at her. Perhaps he is learning. The Kitsuna tries to hide the disappointment on her face. Even though Chris has rejected him, she hopes his sadness is honest and not simply part of his skills to delude even himself. A hope that is bittersweet, but if proven true, may mean Gaki isn't just playing a man-whore's game. He may even mean the more sane half of the things he says. Out of the corner of her eyes, Chris catches a strange look on Salios' face. Though he was the first to speak initially, he suddenly seems a lot less festive. Are you all right? Yes, of course. I was just thinking about how happy you must feel to finally go home, and that perhaps you wish the time would come quicker. What part of this situation gives you that impression? Because I can assure you that is nowhere near the thought in my mind. If it were sooner, you'd still have your appetite and wouldn't feel burdened by all of these goodbyes. Though I'm glad to have met you, Chris. I only wish I'd been able to make you stay here easier. I'd be able to make your stay here easier. You did. You're always so considerate, Salios. I wouldn't say it's in my nature, but if I lived up to that, I'd probably have sucked all the blood from your veins by now. I meant that as a joke, of course. Vampires have better self-control than they're given credit for, and I've gone and talked myself into a hole again, haven't I? Only a little one. But Chris will miss Salios' bumbling attempts at being the best host he can. Even if he does, on occasion, slip up, he has been the biggest asset to Chris, and she's grateful he's around. Don't worry, Salios, I understand. I'm glad you're so easy to talk to, and I'm glad you're able to return home, where you might feel more comfortable. And I, too, am so very happy as well. I know how you pine for your old home, and believe me, I pin just as much for mine. Why, I feel like that's not Anzu. You know, it was before you came, and up chucked my entire palace for your report. Nope, that's Anzu. Yeah. I can already feel things returning to how they used to be, like they will always be, no matter what. I'm sorry my presence has been such a burden to you all. Oh no, the UI. Perhaps not all of us. You seem to have made quite the impression on my subordinates, but like children, they do not realize what is best for them. I'm sure you shall be missed for the better part of a day before you are forgotten. Why do you have to be so cruel? Chris hangs her head, trying to hide her dampening eyes from Anzu's probing stare. She knows this is what the woman wants. It's the woman's last attack before she leaves. It's a fitting farewell, coming from Anzu. Don't misunderstand me, Chris. I had certainly not intended to sound so harsh. Which is also close to an admittance that the governess might remember Chris for more than the better part of a day, as it'll get. Oof. That was a hard thing to read. With the grand woman's final words, dinner concludes in a strange silence. One that Gaki doesn't bear break, even though he often attempts to. Every time he opens his mouth, however, Anzu's warning glares make him shut it again. And so this is how Chris's last dinner in Camino Palace goes. I'm a bit scared. Lucy's going to be upset at me for not finding anything. Chris finishes off what she can for her report. Though it's slow and harder to focus than usual, she finds what she can before heading back to her room to sleep off all the day's anxieties. In no time at all, she's fast asleep. Her night passes in a way she hasn't previously experienced. Once during her stay at Kaminoto's palace, in absolute peace. Age, ? The portrait of the man in her bedroom, who is a... And I didn't read that first part because of obvious reasons. His spinning would be a challenge itself. There's much herself doesn't understand. Ooh. Sleepy-eyed, Chris is still resting the day away. With so little left to do, she thought she could afford to sleep in for a bit. But 5 more minutes turns into 30, and now it's an hour late. The girl is still holed up in her room, chewing on her pillow. And nothing. Sleeping noises. Nothing. More sleeping noises. Nothing can wake her. I'm up. The girl wakes up with a start, relishing that she hasn't got any more time to waste. She quickly gets dressed and rushes out of her room. Not looking where she's going, Chris crashes into a very solid wall of flesh. Are you all right? Celias catches the fox by her shoulders, preventing her from bouncing off his chest like a ping pong. I didn't mean to knock you off your feet. You sound like Gaki. Chris laughs, but the man doesn't appreciate the joke very much. What are you doing here? I didn't find you in your office, so I assumed you'd be around here somewhere. I didn't expect you to still be sleeping. If I'd known, I would have approached with a little more caution. That's my bad, bro. The man rambles on and only stops when he notices that the girl's snickering at him. Sorry. But to get to the point, I came to invite you to breakfast. Sure, I'm starving. Of course you are. I apologize that I didn't mention it sooner. The vampire escorts Chris downstairs to the dining room, where Anzu and Kali stand beside an empty table. Where's the food? It should be here any second now. Celias looks up at the clock and watches the seconds tick to the hour. When the clock chimes, dishes slowly begin to appear on the table, one plate at a time. What? That's crazy! That's so cool. Chris looks around for other people, but it's just the 4 of them. When the clock stops chiming, a long sheet of paper appears in Anzu's hands. She stamps her seal on it before it rolls itself up and vanishes into thin air. Just in time. The Gumiho sits down at her usual place, but is suddenly more suspicious of the food. She pokes the fish on her plate and pushes the bowl of soup across the table, inch by slow inch, as if expecting it to vanish back into nothing. A long, clear laugh shocks the girl, making her stop playing with her food. Now I'm certain they don't feed you up there. I've never seen someone so amazed at catered food before. Catered? By whom? The Ghost Catering Company, of course. Oh God! No! I like their subtlety. I neither have to see nor hear them. I simply get to eat the spoils of their labor. Ghosts can cook? Like this? Why wouldn't they be able to cook? That's my question. How can they possibly hold things? That's also a very good point. To my knowledge, they do not hold anything. The art of possession can be used in many ways, after all. I guess that makes sense. Though the blonde is quite glad that this all wasn't told to her before, the strange imaging that ghosts have been inside of her food only moments ago, but they must be doing something right. The meals are always delicious. I'm surprised you've never heard of them before. There aren't any ghosts in the main Hell government, or even anywhere near that area. Really? It is indeed true. It's because they were... Ah! Why? Why? A loud slamming is heard from just outside the room. Everyone stops for a moment. When nothing happens, Anzu opens her mouth to continue speaking. As I was saying, but the sound from before should have warned the residents of what was to come. The dining room door busts open. Gaki waltzes in uninvited, as is the norm, and sits down beside Chris, crossing his arms over his chest and sighing loudly. How did he get in? Did someone give him a key card? No one knows exactly what is wrong with him, and no one dares to ask. What's wrong, Could you pass me the pickle dish, please? Huh? Me? Salios puts a little plate in Chris's hand, and the girl has no choice but to oblige and pass it to the governess. You should try the soup. It's a bit too salty for my palate, to be honest with you. The fish is cooked very well today. Would you like some, Chris? No, thank you. Gaki, do you... The girl tries to pass a plate to Gaki, but it's swiped from her hands by Anzu. I think there's hints going on here. Oh, how do you know that I was just dying to have a bite of this? The fish is cooked so well today, it's delicious. Callie repeats while passing a strained look to Chris. Why are they all ignoring Gaki for? Plates pass in front of the fox boy's face as they move from one hand to another. Everyone's avoiding making eye contact with the pouty fox, while simultaneously and desperately trying to stop Chris from breaking the facade. Though no one dares to ask why Gaki is here, they don't have to wait very long before he insists on telling them himself. I think you all know why I'm here. The fish is cooked very well today. Thank you, NPC Callie. You should try the soup, too. Thank you, NPC Salios. It's a bit too salty for my palate. Thank you, NPC Anzu. When I woke up this morning, I felt a great pain in my chest. Might I have some more fish, please? This is so great. Chris joins the charade before she gets dragged down into another one of Gaki's story. Suddenly, she's not feeling very sorry for him. I thought getting my maids to walk on me would do some good, but it didn't bring me the same joy it usually does. I tried everything, choking, beating, even drowning, but nothing could shift this heavy burden in my chest the slightest. Wow, this is really tasty. I can't believe Ghost made this. You should try the soup. Don't you? Anzu, I swear to God, if you just say it's too salty for my palate. Celios passes the girl a bowl of soup, but she takes a fake spoonful. Then I realized what it was, what it has to be. Wow, this is... Gaki pulls Chris's hands towards him, and she's suddenly dragged into the depths of the boy's delusional story time. No. Chris, I've missed you so much. I know that nothing except seeing your beautiful visage would cure me. Here we go. I realize now that you've affected me far more than anyone else ever does. Although I've said this in the past, in two bustier things, I don't care. I don't care about them anymore, and neither should you. Bustier? That's rude. With no one to stop him, and everyone trying so hard to ignore him, Gaki just continues on, placing an unwanted hand on Chris's knee and sliding it further along her thigh, the more heated his speech becomes. We both... Sorry. But be both my cure and my poison, for this love that pulls us together is too much for this world to handle. But let us see it through until the black star of our amour implodes, and in each other's arms, bleeding, crying, and wanting just for one more kiss, we shall slip into the night of death. Chris removes the boy's hand from her leg, but it returns almost instantly, squeezing down even harder. Why isn't anyone saying anything? I know you're afraid, but it's our animal It's our animal magnetism that binds us. It's our star-crossed lust. This deeper yearning comes straight from the pits of our sexually deprived bowels. Please, Gaki, leave me alone. I think something might be excreting from my bowels just from listening to this. As much as they tried, Anzu, Callie, and Sally can't block out Gaki's pussy prouse. If they're forced to listen to the boy's disgustingly lewd poetry any longer, Chris's legs aren't the only thing Gaki will have spread across the dinner table. Please don't give me that imagery. Anzu drops her utensils. She doesn't have the stomach for Gaki's antics and stands to leave. Callie follows suit, and the two women leave the dining room. Oh God. Please, no. I should go too. Chris stands, attempting to leave with them, but Gaki pulls her back down to the table. And leave me here, all alone, broken-hearted. Do I mean nothing to you? Should let her go, Master Gaki. I believe you said quite enough already. Thank you, Salios. I appreciate it. Unexpectedly, the fox boy does as Salios says and lets the girl go. She wastes no time in leaving the dining room, but a persistent presence slowly draws nearer from behind her. Are you following me again? Excellent idea, to leave that stiff behind. Damn it! There is a hair on my mic. Now we can be alone together. I wanted to be alone, not together. Like, without me? Let's add alone to the list of words Gaki doesn't understand. The longer this list gets, the more certain it is that the boy should invest in a good modern dictionary. Stop following me, Gaki. My love, do not force me away, though you look at me with the disgust of someone who knows my deepest desires. Draw me closer to you, so that I may feel your pounding repulsions against my loins. I'm warning. Do not beat me with your do not beat me with your brows, but your Chris, run! Chris, run! Salius charges at the boy, tackling him to the ground and pinning him down. He struggles, kicking and thrashing, but the vampire manages to hold him down. The fox's claws catch Salios's face, and for a moment he breaks free. Chris, run! Go! Thank you, Salios. Goodbye! The pale man pulls Gaki back by his shins. No, I can't. The pale man pulls Gaki back by his shins, and although torn about leaving him to his fate, Chris can see the look of sheer determination in her pursuer's eyes. Ah, so he doesn't plan on letting me leave. I get it. I will leave. There's no helping him now. She must run. I'll hold him off. Thank you, Sally. Chris, our love. What about our love? Gaki, please. I have work to do. If I want to come back, I might. The boy's love-struckness glows red in his eyes. There's no reasoning with him now. He's gone. He's gone for good. This is the only way. I'm sorry. Chris looks at Salios. His bravery will not be forgotten. The girl weeps for his brave sacrifice and runs all the way back to her office. I'm safe. She slams the door shut behind her, trying desperately to catch her breath. The morning hasn't gone quite how she imagined, but it's almost over, and there isn't any time to lose now. Getting back to work, the auditor tries but fails to stay on task. She keeps thinking about the one thing she's tried so hard to ignore. As someone who rarely knows when to quit, Chris has to face the facts. She's failed. There's nothing here that implicates Anzu. I feel like that's wrong. Like, that wordage is wrong. The only thing she has are theories, and without the evidence to prove them, she is no better than that annoying Akusteri governor who started this whole thing. The girl only hopes she won't end up the same way as he did. The auditor works until the report is as good as it'll ever be. Feeling the fatigue and elation of her hard work, she rests her head on the desk, just for a second. The second quickly passes, and Chris falls into a deeper sleep than she expects. Gaki walks into the room. Damn it! I knew I should have picked a room with a key card. I finally found you. After traversing so many doors and perilous hallways, we are reunited. Shh, I'm sleeping. Chris continues to sleep through the boy's loud declaration. After all that, she's fallen asleep on me. But this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I swear to God, Gaki, you will be thrown out the window. He takes out a small camera from the Devil's Nowhere and begins to make art. He focuses on the girl's sleeping face, since that has the most artistic merit, but then proceeds to snap the rest of her anatomy. Not a single part of you shall be forgotten, my love. Wriggling his way beneath her chair, he takes several more photos from more adventurous viewpoints. Finally, he takes 3 post-production selfies of himself with his sleeping muse. That's funny. The selfie part, the rest is disturbing. Happy with his work, he covers Chris in a blanket, calling an end to their private photo shoot. Beautiful, always absolutely beautiful. I only wish you could see these. Alas, I don't think we share the same eye for art, so let this be the only secret I keep from you. Wow. But don't worry, my love. They're for my own private use. No other shall gaze upon these blessed radi... radiancies. Nope. Radius. Radius. Rarities. I got it. Blessed rarities. I'm so smart. Gaki hides the small camera back from whence it came and leaves in the best of moods. Wow, he didn't even, wait for me to wake up. I feel bad about that. He can't wait to have the pictures develop and mounted on his bathroom wall. Chris wakes up, yawning loudly until a stiff ache in her neck makes her recoil in discomfort. She feels worse now than when she went to sleep. Ooh, my throat. This is what happens when you take afternoon naps on your desk. Though it's the universe. Whoa, stop it. No. Whoa. I don't know what happened. That's not okay. Oh, look, I haven't saved. That's unfortunate. Let's just go all the way back. I can't go all the way back. I see. That is a problem. And I haven't saved, so that's even more of a problem. I could start from the beginning and do this all over again. Why could I not go back? Okay, you know what? God, that's annoying. What button did I even press? I didn't even hit anything. Oh, that's annoying. Okay. Let's see. I'll have to start over. That's my only option. Because I can't go any further. Or I can't go... Oops, I hit my mic again. I can't go any further back. Or can I? I can. I'm so smart. Why did it... Okay, you know what? Auto forward... No! What is that? Why is that... Okay. Most things default to red. Skip after... Just... No. Just don't skip until I want you to. Happy with his work. Private photo shoot. Thank God I could go back. I guess I hit the hide button? That's weird. Best of moods. Let's pretend nothing happened. Again. Chris wakes up, yawning loudly until a stiff ache in her neck makes her recoil in discomfort. She feels worse now than when she went to sleep. This is what happens when you take afternoon naps on your desk, though it's the universe's way of telling you to get on with your work and stop slacking off. Huh? What's this? The girl feels a blanket on her shoulders. She looks around for the culprit of the sacrilegious act of kindness, but is disappointed to find no one there. Who did this? Out of curiosity, she sniffs the blanket and catches the faintest scent of the one who's been plaguing her mind these last few days. She inhales deeply, trying to commit the smell to memory. No matter how fickle memories are, she never wants to forget this smell. There are no more chances to make any more memories here, though, because it is now time to go. What? That didn't sing right. There are no more chances to make... Whoa. There are no more chances to make any more memories here, though... No more memories here, though, because it is now time to go. Such an awkward, though. I've never seen though used in that way. The auditor packs her small bundle of clothes and hides her report inside. Even though she's failed at her task, she has no choice but to leave. With all her things packed and most of her reservations resolved, Chris starts on her journey back to the main Hell government. There's no one in the hall to send her off. Everything seems far too calm. I should go say goodbye. But she doesn't move, and certainly doesn't have the will to see any of them one last time. It's best to cut their ties now. Outside, with the fresh air on her face, Chris starts to think back on her short time at Kuminota Palace. She tries to smile, even as her heart grips and her mind starts forgetting the smell from the blanket. I'll forget them soon. Then it'll be like none of this has ever happened. None of this ever happened. What is wrong with me? That's just how life is. People come and go, and you forget about them too. Even when you don't want to. Especially when you don't want to. The Gamiho thinks of the people she's met here, of their smiling faces and all they've done to help her. Then she goes even further back and tries to recall two faces she hasn't seen in years. Hollow, smiling heads that haven't had faces in forever. Soon, that's how she'll remember the others too. Salios, Callie, Gaki, Anzu will all just be faceless, smiling voids in her memory. Chris tries to comfort herself with that thought. It's not what she wants, not for them, and not for her parents, but that's just how it's going to be. Since the last time Lord Lucifer tried to deal with a complaint, they hadn't had nearly as much peace as they thought they would. More specifically, their actions have been a serious domino effect, and now they're surrounded by even more irritating pests. The 3rd District has been without a governor for 3 days. 3 days! I don't know, I'm trying something new. Oh no. Murcielago residents will steal the very shirts off our backs if they're not controlled. Who gives a flying bat's arse about the 3rd District? We haven't had contact with the 7th for an entire month. We don't even know if the governor is still alive. I can't do any more voices. Please don't let there be a 3rd advisor. And now look at them. I told you that the revolt like theirs wasn't something to be taken lightly. No. Revolts happen, get over it. What's really troubling is the 5th District still has that pig as their governor. Someone who makes so little effort with their personal hygiene can clearly not be trusted. Just like someone who wears a mask, I suppose. Who even approves such a ludicrous law? I did. Well, that explains everything. You and the rest of the Phantasma need to be exposed, and I'm not speaking figuratively. Can we at least try to focus on the big issue here? Bigger than gluttons? I can't believe such a problem exists. But there is the 2nd District. At the mention of the 2nd District, the room goes quiet, and the advisors shake their heads. It's unspeakable, the things that go on in Fuzhang. So unspeakable, even, that a bunch of yapping advisors whose only job are to voice their overbearing anxieties dare not speak about it for longer than necessary. They all look to Lucifer, but the Overlord hasn't said a word since their meeting began, and it is clear why. The ruler sits on her throne, donning a pair of large headphones and an annoying expression. The Sounds of Screams and Terrors, Volume 666, hasn't improved their mood one bit. Not when all of their time is dominated by meetings like this. My lord, your input would be far more useful than anything we could say. Lucifer doesn't say anything. They simply watch the advisor's lips flap, and in their mind they imagine what they might be saying. Please won't you crush my skull? No, me. I've decided that pea-green suit is... What? I've decided that a pea-green suit is, in fact, more of an abomination than Satan themselves. I don't like laughing. Lucifer mimics them all in a high, screeching voice. Oh, that was a mimic. That's my bad. I thought you liked green. No! Boom. A shot flies past the third advisor's ear and misses, sadly. Try again. My overlord. This time I'll stay very, very still. Lucifer aims through one eye, and though the advisor is still moving, they're certain the next shot won't miss. But then the Overlord notices two ears twitching behind one of the vase stands. The devil lowers their smoking finger pistol from the advisor's head and pulls off their headphones. Finally, a way to escape this hellish meeting. Fox! The audience of advisors, counselors, and strategies all fan out and let Chris walk towards the front of the room. You may all leave now. But out! The door slams and the audience shuffles away. Finally, the entrance shuts, locking the auditors into a deadly quiet throne room with Lucifer. The auditor. Singular, not plural. Dreams really do come true. What do you have for me? What is your name? Whatever your name is. I regret to say that... Speak louder! Lucifer's voice booms, acting as an example for how Chris should speak instead of mumbling through her shameful announcement. There's nothing to report. Nothing? Nothing at all. The governor's speculations were groundless. I've written a full report on the matter, and though there are some minor discrepancies in the governor's archives, I'm led to believe that they're simply demonic errors. Nothing of real importance. Then you have been of no real importance to me. The ruler leans back into her throne. They think on all the years they've known Anzu and how demonic error really isn't her style. Destroy the report. Excuse me? Destroy it, and nothing we've discussed shall leave this room. Yes. The fox stands still and stares at the devil. They say nothing until her staring irks them. That doesn't mean you shouldn't leave. Of course. Chris hurries out of the throne room. Overall, it didn't go as badly as she thought it would. She's glad that even though she wasn't able to prove her worth because of this incident, she now shares a secret with Lucifer, no matter how minor it is. There's something in hell that only exists between her and the land's ruler, and that's enough of a reward for the girl. Back in the throne room, however... What in damnation is that silly succubus up to? They slam their fists into the arm of the throne room, and the metal crumples beneath their hand. Black blood pours out of their tightened fists. There is one thing Lucifer can't stand, while Anzu simply adores it: playing a trick on the Overlord. Liam. Who? Liam. It's a wonderful girl that hasn't died in a horrific accident yet, or has she? Sorry. Yes, Liam is her default name. It would have been weird if you put you or something like that. Lily M. Soon, Chris will know the greatest pleasure of returning home, opening the door and being hit by a sudden feeling of emptiness. Never will her 2-room apartment ever feel more inadequate or lonely than in those first few moments of returning home. Unfortunately, Chris will be spending this glorious amount of revelation because, as the girl approaches her apartment complex, a familiar figure will prevent her from ever having that glorious moment of awakening and regret. A figure she recognizes instantly with a simple glance. Her whole heart fills with a joy she doesn't know how to contain. I swear to God, how did he get here? With tears in her eyes, she runs as fast as her legs can carry her. She continued towards them, and as if from nowhere, a grand piano falls from the sky, killing her instantly. Damn! This is no accident. It's a punishment from the gods of consideration of thin plot lines. Chris did not take heed to the narrator's guidance, therefore she must be flattened into a caricature of herself. Her final curtain call will be a pathetic, overplayed, comical ending, which is still far more than the little laws of the universe rejector deserves. It was a murder, by the gods. As for the figure, they simply stare at the broken piano and walk away. Interesting. So it's not who I thought it was. I wonder who it was. Never to know that their very own special Gamiho, Chris, is lying dead beneath its remains. As you will never know who they are. That's rude. Thanks to Chris's inability to play out her story correctly, they will forever remain a mystery. Good day to you. The end. Finn. Damn, did I do something wrong? Did I do something wrong, or was that, supposed to happen? That's unfortunate. I did say that this was going to be a cliffhanger type, because it's only episode 1. I didn't think it would be like this, though. I'm sorry for eating, but this meat stick is really good. And I will be letting the entire credits play. Coworker 1, Coworker 2. I wouldn't mind showing off the voices since it was voice acted, but because I'm here to read, that's what I plan to do. Well, okay. Well, that was quite interesting. I'm not sure if I did something wrong, or if that's just how it ends. I don't even know what warning the narrator gave. I can't remember it, even if I don't even know if the narrator even gave a warning. But, and plus that description, let's see if it's in the gallery. There it is. The last paragraph. It's a wonder this girl hasn't died yet in a horrific accident. It's a wonder this girl hasn't died in a horrific accident yet, or has she? That is quite intriguing. I'm glad that I can actually read some of these. I'll go through them. So Lilium, age 355, occupation auditor. Yes, Lilium is her default name. It would have been weird if you put you or something like that. It's a wonder this girl hasn't died in a horrific accident yet, or has she? Can I just hit escape? How do I get out of this? It worked last time, but it didn't work this time. Anzu, age unknown, occupation governess. Explaining anything about Anzu would be a challenge in itself. There is much she herself doesn't understand. The portrait of the man in her bedroom. Who is it? I don't even know what portrait you're talking about. Callie, age 380, occupation secretary. A young demon who is deeply in love with the governess of Kuminoto. What sort of demon is Callie? What does she actually do for Governess Anza? Those are both good questions. I'm trying to find... Okay. Excuse me. Salios, age 350. Occupation, archival master. A young vampire who barely knows anything about his own past. He takes great pleasure in little things. Wine, a good book, foie gras. Basically, he's a hipster. Gaki, age 369. Occupation, soul collector. A young noble kitsuna who truly lives life to the fullest. In other words, he gets around a lot. The most surprising thing about Gaki is that he's actually a diligent worker. Who'd have thunk it? There you go. Oh, right. Lucifer, age unknown, occupation, Lord of Hell. As the Lord of Hell, Lucy is consistently busy with tending to the needs of the devilish beings. If not for the fact that they're obsessed with power, they'd probably be retiring right about now. Quite interesting, because I didn't get to see those. I'm not going to full screen those galleries that we haven't seen, just because those are different paths, and I don't want to showcase this entire game, because that'll take, what's it called? Commercial value from, not commercial value, whatever, patronage. It'll take patronage from the actual game, which I think is really good. I like the characters. All of them. Anzu's a bit difficult, but I like her too. Even though, it was difficult to connect in the way I was playing, but I liked all the characters, and I'm hoping I didn't do anything wrong. But that'll be all for today. Hopefully I'll record something tomorrow. My tomorrow. But because I have a lot of games lined up, because I am off of work for a while. So we'll see how that goes. Anyways, I thank you so much, all of you, for watching. Again, I'm sorry about that pause. I assume I can only record a certain amount of time, and then it stops recording, which I'll have to actually write down so that doesn't happen again, and I can actually stop at a proper time and continue recording. But I hope you all enjoyed this, and if you want to see the other paths, you'll have to acquire the game yourself, because I don't want to showcase the entire game. But I appreciate you all for your time and attention. And I love you all very much. because you matter. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Bye! It's not stopping because I'm